Hi, this is Dawn Isenhower with Sibcy Cline Realtors Adventures in Real Estate Summer Podcast. I'm here with Vicki Hathorn with Sibcy Cline Title. We're excited to have you here. It's going to
Thanks
be
for
fun.
having me.
Awesome. I wanted to start out by asking you how long you've worked in the title industry and what initially drew you to this madness that we call the world of title.
Well, actually, I've been in the business for 39 years, so I'm really old.
No.
Anyway, I was working at a credit union locally here in Cincinnati, and I was managing their mortgage division. And the attorney that would come and do the closings was very impressed with the way I handled myself with clients. He asked me to come to work for him. I knew nothing about title, and he taught me everything I know, and the rest is history.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Well, she runs a fabulous closing when she does the closings and the real estate transactions. But a lot of people really don't understand because they know what their agents do, they know what the mortgage loan officer does, but they really don't understand what the title company does for them in these real estate transactions. And they see you at the end and they think it's the grand finale, but they don't understand all the stuff that's happened in the background. So what exactly does a title company do in the real estate
Well,
transaction?
while the mortgage company is doing their research and gathering all their information, we are doing a 40-year search at the courthouse. It's called a title examination. We go to the auditor's office to make sure that the seller is actually the owner of the property. We check the recorder's office to make sure any liens or encumbrances, anything that's attached to the house that is from someone else has been cleared, or if not, we pay for it at closing. Check the taxes to see if they're current or delinquent. All kinds of different liens can be on the house. By liens, I mean something that is on the property that is owed to someone else. So we check federal tax liens, state of Ohio liens, workers' compensation liens, even child support liens. If someone is delinquent on a child support lien, that is an encumbrance that attaches to the property. So anything that attaches to the property, we want the examination to be clear so that the buyer has no other liens or encumbrances on the house other than maybe the mortgage that they're taking out at that time.
Well, I've had several situations this year, they come up from time to time, where there were liens attached and the title company didn't think that those liens belonged to that person, but we had to go through the attorney general search and all of that. So when it came up on one of the transactions, the potential lien amount was like $361,000 for all these liens. And I had the buyers and they were very surprised and didn't understand where all this came from. And I said, well, this is why we have the title company involved doing the title search on your behalf, because there's no way that this property will close until all of that is cleared up. So they were really shocked, and I had to remind them, this is why we have the title company involved.
Right. Well, once we do the title exam, then we prepare all the paperwork, but we give the report of that exam to the mortgage company so that they can see what all is entitled, or what is on the title. And then we prepare all the documentation, we issue the checks, and then we go to the closing. And then we record the documents.
Right? And that's the best part, I think.
Yeah.
I think you get to come in for the best part after all the work that just goes on behind the scenes. It's an amazing amount of work that's done, and no one ever sees it. But if something's wrong, we really do appreciate the fact that you're there protecting and checking on everything and making sure we can really close.
Well, what makes my job a lot easier is if the real estate agent is knowledgeable and takes care of their portion, and the mortgage company is knowledgeable and takes care of their portion. It makes our life a lot easier. If we all coordinate together, it makes for a much easier and a happier closing.
Yep. I like to keep lenders and title companies working together. And the nice thing about Sibcy Cline Title is that title company's been around for so long that most of the lenders do have a relationship with Sibcy Cline Title, Lawyers Title. So that makes it nice too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know everybody in town, which is pretty great. When it comes to the title company and what they do, that's a very necessary part of the transaction. But most people, when I go through the contract with them and I talk about title insurance, most people are not familiar with title insurance at all. I'm kind of their first introduction to the entire concept of it. I don't consider myself an expert on it, but I can explain it. And then I do let them know to call the title company if they have any additional questions about it. But what exactly is title insurance, and what are the different types of title insurance out
Well,
there?
title insurance, well, once we do the title examination at the courthouse, there are certain things we cannot see when we do that exam. Like I can't tell if a document's been forged. I can't tell if someone has passed away and there was a probate case of record. I can't tell if they named all of the next of kin that would be responsible or able to have an interest in the property. So there's a lot of things that could slip through the cracks, and that's what title insurance covers. It covers all of those issues or concerns. There are two types of title insurance. One is for the lender. Most lenders, if they're selling loans on the secondary market, they must have a lender's policy of title insurance, which the buyer pays for that title insurance for the lender, and it's protecting them in the event that there would be a total loss on the part of their lien. Because a lender wants to make sure that they're in first position, that if they have to foreclose on the property, they will get the money first, and then a second mortgage and anybody behind them. So they would want that coverage, and it covers up to the loan amount of the property, whatever the buyer is borrowing. The other policy is an owner's policy of title insurance that protects the buyer for any of these issues. Say you're in the house 3 months and you get this certified letter and it says that you're being sued because one of the next of kin in a probate case was not named, so therefore he or she has an interest in the property and now is suing you. And technically, if it's legitimate, you have to pay them. But if you have an owner's policy of title insurance, it covers that. We would pay for that, plus we would pay any attorney's fees or legal action that needed to be taken on your behalf. The only thing you would have to do is just write an email or a letter stating what the issue is or the concern.
Which is pretty great. If you don't have it, you're paying that attorney
Right.
by the hour to
Right.
unravel the mess. So.
Well, and the title insurance is for an owner's policy is the purchase price of the property. So you're covered for the entire amount that you are invested into that property.
Instead of just the loan amount like
Correct.
the lender. Because I do have a lot of people who say, well, I'm paying for the lender policy. I don't really think I need an owner's policy. I look at them and say, hey, we buy several properties a year and we won't do anything without having an owner's policy to protect us.
Now, the owner's policy, there are two types. There's the regular owner's policy, and there's what we call an enhanced policy. Our underwriter calls ours a homeowner's insurance policy, which is kind of confusing because that has nothing to do with your homeowner's policy on your house. But it's an upgraded policy that would protect you against a lot more issues or concerns. And there's a list of those. Most people will get just the actual owner's policy, not the enhanced policy.
Right.
But if you needed to hear about that, I'd be more than happy to explain that to someone if they need it.
Yeah, and we can get you connected with Vicki if you have any questions about that at all.
Right.
Be happy to. So, do you have any parting thoughts or recommendations for buyers and sellers when it comes to title work, title insurance, anything in that process?
I do have some advice that if you're buying a house and you have the opportunity to find your own title company, don't ask the title companies how much do you charge for a closing, because there's many parts to that. There is the title examination and the closing fees, and then the title insurance. The title insurance is state regulated. So no matter what title company you go to, the actual premium for the title insurance would be the same. Lenders ask for endorsements to their policies. Say you're buying a condominium, they'll want a condo endorsement. If you're doing an adjustable rate loan, they'll want an adjustable rate loan endorsement. So those are additional costs on top of the policy, but the actual premium for the policies are standard for the state of Ohio. Kentucky is a little bit different. They have municipal tax for cities. So that would be something that you want to make sure you understand. The best thing to do is to call me first, and I'll explain it all to you, and then you'll know what questions to ask for any other title companies to kind of compare the costs associated with it. We are very competitive in our cost analysis. So
That's true.
Also to make sure that the title company has an attorney on staff. Sometimes you need that. I mean, if you have a shared driveway or if you have some kind of a legal action that you need verification or information about, and you want to talk to an attorney, you can call our attorneys. There's no charge for a telephone call to ask them questions about your specific circumstances. So that's very important. Knowing your title company is very important because there's so many out there that are not reputable.
It's true. They just kind of pop up and then
Right.
go away after a while.
Well, and we're associated with Lawyers Title of Cincinnati, and they've been in the business for well over 80 years. I think it's 4 generations. So I think you would be working with a very well-established title company.
For sure. All right.
But thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for
And
coming
thank you
today.
for all your knowledge, because I always depend on you as a real estate agent to help me with my part.
It's nice when the relationships are well established like that, and you know what the title company needs as an agent. It just makes things, like you said, so much smoother and so much better, and we're sure glad you're there for us, because there are some funny issues that pop up every once in a while.
There are.
And yeah, and you all are the experts at
We try our
unraveling some of the crazy things that go on. So that would be, I don't know how many other volumes of books or how many
Yes.
other videos in and of itself, just some of the stories she's got.
They are crazy.
Some of the interesting closings and all of that. So we'll have to have her back on to talk about some of that stuff later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Vicki's just incredible. Like I said earlier, if you have questions about anything involving title at all, I can definitely get you connected with her so that you can have a conversation with her. And like she said, you know, the fees aren't all there is to it. You need to have somebody explain the ins and outs to you as well of what they're going to do to protect you in search and make sure that your closing is as smooth as possible. So thanks again.
You're welcome.
Always
Thanks for
glad to
having
see
me.
ya.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.